Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. How you doing today? It's Michael Zuber and Greg Dickerson. We are here to talk to you about Dave Ramsey and his famous 7 baby steps. How you doing, Greg?
Doing great, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing really well, man. I've been looking forward to have this conversation with you. I still remember that first time we talked about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and you read the book and thought about being Rich Dad, and I've read the book, oh, I don't know, I was going to say 100, but let's say 50 times, and I've always thought about being Robert. So it's going to be interesting to see what you think about Dave Ramsey and his 7 baby steps. I'm going to read them for you. You cool with that?
Absolutely, yeah. And there was a time, so I was on the Dave Ramsey show years and years ago, 2009, after the
Oh,
markets
wow.
crashed and everything was falling apart. And I was in a resort area. I was writing a lot of articles at the time, and I was actually on Fox Business with Neil Cavuto just after the market sold off, and did a little bit. It was a call-in show, and then Dave Ramsey. I'd sent them some emails, and they invited me on, and I had a little dialogue with Dave Ramsey about the future of real estate back in 2009.
Wow, I got to go find that. You actually have that video somewhere? I want to get that link.
No, it wasn't a video. It was a call in. So,
Okay.
he does that radio show. So
Oh,
back
yeah,
then, that was
yeah.
before YouTube and all that was huge. Yeah, it was just all radio.
Oh, that is awesome. Well, cool. Let me read you these 7 steps and then we'll just see where we want to go. So again, Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps. Step 1, save $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. Step 2, pay off all debt except your house using Debt Snowball. Step 3, save 3 to 6 months of expenses in fully funded emergency fund. Step 4, invest 15% of your household income in retirement. Step 5, save for your children's college fund. Step 6, pay off your home early. Step 7, build wealth and give. Yeah, lots of stuff there. So, what do you think? I'll share with you my first thoughts, but I'm going to ask you first. What do you think of all of that?
I think you just go, past jail and go straight to go and collect your, $200 for going past go and go straight to building wealth and giving back.
Yeah, yeah. I imagine that. I just love your mindset. You look at all of these things and you're going like, let's elevate people. Let's think about this. So when I looked at it again, I looked at it much like I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm like, I'm just reading the thing, and the first thing that jumped out at me is, by the time I get to step 7, I'm dead. That was my first thing. I was like,
Well,
what?
so
There.
nowhere in there does he talk about increase your income, right? Get
Yeah,
a side business, do a side job, do a side gig, something. That's what I did. I worked in the corporate world and military. After the military, I had a corporate job in restaurants, and I always had a side business. I always had another way to make extra money and to build a business. So I had choices. So yeah, you want to save, you want to be prudent, you want to prepare. Yeah, I would argue you need to put away a year's worth of income. As we've seen in the pandemic,
yeah,
anything can and will happen. 3 to 6 months is nothing. That goes quick.
yeah,
I think you need a year's worth of reserves in the bank at a minimum. Paying off your house, it depends on interest rates. Right now, money is so cheap, it doesn't really make sense
agreed.
to pay your house off if you have the ability to invest that money and earn a higher yield somewhere else. So there's a lot of those that I agree with, but the biggest thing is number one should be, how can you make more money? That's number one. Increase the income, increase the inflow. So then you can exponentially increase those outflows and those debt reductions. There's good debt, there's bad debt. He doesn't talk about good debt. He doesn't
Mm,
talk about how to increase your net worth, how to build wealth through good debt. All he talks about is, the general stuff. So I agree with a lot of it. He's got a great program. It's been really powerful for a lot of people, but at the
yeah.
same token, he doesn't talk about the number one thing you need to know, and that's how to make more money.
Oh, I so agree with that. When I look at Dave Ramsey, I see a lot of goodness there. I see him. I see him truly. I've I kind of break it down like this: if your net worth is negative, right, you're broke. Dave Ramsey can help you get to zero, in my opinion. But he doesn't really help you become a millionaire. He basically, as I was jokingly said, he basically says, get a day job, don't spend any money, and in 40 or 50 years, you'll have some money. And that's not how life works. I think I read something in Millionaire Next Door once, or maybe it was their second book, where people at 25, they go on this path, like 14 or 18% of them are dead. They never even see 60, right?
Mhm.
So it's horribly slow advice, but it does work for people that are broke. I think it kind of does aim them, because if you're cycling in a spiral of consumer debt and living above your means, stop that, right? I mean, that's like Nobody can fix that. I know people that make gobs of income, but they have horrible money habits. Sometimes you do got to fix your money habits, right? So you have some stuff at the bottom line. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have to live within your means. You have to have a budget. That's the one thing that most people do not have is a budget. So
Yeah.
you literally need to have a budget on a spreadsheet. You need to have your personal financial statement updated in front of you so that you understand where you stand and live within your means and increase your means. So that should be your number one focus. For a lot of people, they don't want to do that, and that's fine. So then if you're not going to increase your inflows and your income, then you've got to have a budget and you've got to stay with below it. And you have to set aside and invest because you're going to have to retire at some point. The federal retirement, Social Security, Medicare, and all that. I mean, I don't even know if that's above poverty level right now.
Yeah. 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 One of the things I've also come to realize is when you're out there, talking about financial independence, retire early things, we need to realize that some folks watching this or listening to this are happy, content, working 40 hours for 40 years. And if that's the case, more power to you, right? If that makes you happy, if you like living for the weekends, there's nothing wrong with that. There's just other ways, right? You can do what Greg did, bust his butt during the day and then have his side hustle producing extra income that ultimately allowed him to leave his day job and go on and build a 9-figure business.
And let's talk about side hustle. So back when I was doing it, so I'm 53 now. So you're talking 30 years ago when I first got married and before I had kids, there was no Uber. There was no internet. I couldn't create a digital marketing agency. I couldn't do social media management. All of these gig economy jobs that we have now that are so easy to do and so easy to get into. You didn't have day trading through an app with your phone, on stocks, and you couldn't go on Reddit and find out what the next meme stock was. There wasn't cryptocurrencies. So what did I do after work of working all day? I would go at night and I would work like finishing off attics into finished space for people, building decks on people's backyards on weekends. So I was out anytime I had off, I was working and physically working with my hands, doing construction, building fences, building decks, replacing windows, doing screen doors, anything and everything I could do. I remember one time when I was traveling out of town doing some government contracting work, you could get per diem of like $20 a day for your meals. And I mean, I wouldn't eat, more than like $5 a day so I could pocket the rest. And I'd come home with an extra couple $100.
I did that too.
So yeah. So, those are the types of things you do when when you have the mindset of increasing your inflows and building your cash flows and things like that. So nowadays it's so much easier for people to do it, but a lot of people would rather just go home, sit on the couch, watch the shows and, or hang out in the backyard and not go out and either increase their abilities or talents, their knowledge, and try to take some action to increase the income. It's just much easier just to show up, get paid, go home and do nothing.
I wasn't planning to do this, but I'm going to do it now. So I actually I was up so early this morning. I'm a morning person, so I took a stab at writing my 10 baby steps, right? Total rip off of Dave Ramsey 7. I tried to do it in 7. I couldn't. So actually I wrote 10. I'm just going to go through them and tell me what's missing. And just give me your general thoughts. So number 1 for me is, what is your financial freedom number? I don't think a lot of people know, like, what do you need so you don't have to have a day job? Number 2, I think people need to audit their 30-day spending, and then I want them to identify wants and needs. I don't think people have great money habits. Number 3 is your side hustle. What is it for you? What could you do to increase income, right? For me, it was buying cash flow real estate, but for others, it could be Ubers, it could be whatever, it could be a business, whatever that is. Declare what it is. Again, I'm a buy and hold guy. So number 4 for me is focus on one market. And what's your criteria, right? I want to look at houses, which means I don't look at apartments. Get focused. Number 5, you have to look at your market every day. I ask for 20 minutes a day. Number 6, you need to learn what an average deal is. So you only buy good or great deals. Number 7, I want you to grow your network. A lot of this, Dave Ramsey included, is kind of like do it on an island. I believe real estate, I believe business, I believe entrepreneurship is the bigger network, the better you'll be. Number 8 is understand how you're going to buy. Are you going to get a bank loan? Are you going to use seller financing? Are you going to partner with someone? Where are you going to get the capital to buy your assets? Number 9, I think you have to have an emergency fund, both for your family and for real estate. And they are separate. It's not one emergency fund. And then number 10 is only write offers on good or great deals. So that was my first stab at 10 baby steps.
Yeah, I think that's great. A lot of it is real estate focused, obviously, which is your
Obviously.
world, what you do, what you teach. But those rules can be applied to any business, any endeavor, any industry. So if you just take some of the industry specific stuff you talked about, and basically at the end of the day, what it boils down to, educating yourself, understanding your market, where's the problem that I can solve that's going to create opportunity, and how do I be financially prudent and financially intelligent. You need to raise your financial IQ, which is what a lot of what, Rich Dad Poor Dad's all about. How does money work? How does the economy work? What's an asset? What's a liability? How can I increase, multiple streams of income, inflows, and where are my biggest opportunities to scale these things fast? But it all starts with that game plan. What's your exit strategy, and work it backwards? What do you need to earn
Yeah.
to sustain your lifestyle? If you can't work, just forget, don't want to, but
Yeah.
what if you can't? You have to have that coming in to sustain that lifestyle. So that's what a lot of people forget about. Hey, disability insurance is a great thing to look into as well. A lot of people don't think about life insurance, disability insurance. They're very inexpensive. At least life insurance can be. Disability can be a little bit more expensive depending on what you do. But that's something else that people need to think about, that you need to have in place for your family.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I see is, I've been doing this almost 3 years now, is when I'm helping folks, there's two things, and that's why they were step one and step two. Like, I don't know, like 10% of the people I talk to actually know their financial freedom number. Most people go, it's 10 grand. It's 5 grand. I have a hint for you folks. Your financial freedom number is not a round number. It's just not. I mean, if you want to just guess, great. But I mean, there's actually a number. It's like $3,700, $800, or $812. I mean, that's, if you really want to get to what's the minimum, it's going to be some kind of number like that. And then the other is, I'm shocked at how many people don't know how much money they really spend in 30 days. And then where that falls, wants and needs. So
yeah, it's kind of like calories. People have no idea how much they really eat till they start tracking.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know how much I eat a day, let alone a month.
It goes away. And, you think about the automatic millionaire, David Bachman or David Bach, whatever it was.
I think, yeah,
Bach, wrote that book. Yeah, talking about the Starbucks latte, $5. Yeah. So again, at the end of the day, you got to have another source of income. And it's so easy these days to find ways to create an extra 100, extra 1,000, extra 10,000 a month, doing different things, and have a full-time job. It can be done. It's being done every day, and it's easy. And it goes back to that recording that we did last week on, can anybody become a millionaire? It's all about choice. You have to make up your mind what it is you want. You have to be willing to sacrifice. Somebody asked me a question and said, what did you sacrifice early on? And for me, it was everything. I sacrificed everything. I mean, I worked constantly from 7 in the morning. I'd get up at 5 and I'd be on the job site by 7 or at work by 7. And I didn't stop till 11, 12 o'clock at night a lot of times. Just enough to go home, take a shower, eat, get up, and do it all over again. I mean, I did that 6, 7 days a week
for years, decades,
long time. See, a lot of people look at you when you arrive, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's easy for you to say that because you're successful, or you've done this, or
you got lucky."
Yeah, I got lucky, and yeah, I'm a 30-year overnight success, right?
Amen to that. Oh, this has been a great conversation. Exactly what I thought, and thank you for listening to my first draft of 10 baby steps. Thanks, buddy.
Great job.
Thanks.